obviously the league year starts in the middle of March, and then you have the draft. You see the way that teams are trying to restructure their rosters, and we'll get to some news on the team that played in the Super Bowl in just a minute. But first, big quarterback news, and quarterbacks always lead these conversations, Gabriella. It is Kyler Murray expected to be cut by the Arizona Cardinals. This is a guy that was a first-round draft pick not that long ago.
Yeah.
You don't see this very often where guys are just strictly straight up cut, not traded, but cut from their teams. It hasn't happened yet, but what were your overall thoughts about what this move might mean for both Kyler and the organization?
I think Kyler and the organization didn't get along well from the jump.
Yeah.
So I think with a lot of the issues that they had, I don't know that there was coming back from that. I think, internally there was a lot going on behind the scenes that it just made sense for them to move on, right?
Yeah.
Like he wasn't working as the starter. They obviously they took a chance on him. They drafted him first, but they think there's better out there for the organization. So honestly, I like the decision for both Kyler
and actually watching game film.
Right.
Now, like I said, that everybody, his agent and the Cardinals all try to say it's all a made up story, whatever. Even the fact that it was out there let people know that this guy might not all the way be fully buttoned up for this organization.
And there was a moment there where he, took down every photo of himself in a Cardinals jersey from his Instagram.
You know what? This actually, I'm gonna hit pause on this because there is a generational gap between where Patrick and Gabriella sit and where I sit. I feel like this is just the new way of the way people softly break up with one another.
It is. You just remove the photos,
right?
And then no words need to be said.
Remove the photo and then let the people that have way too much time on their hands go through your following list and see, they're not following them anymore.
That exactly.
Something's
there you
going
go. Something's
on.
up.
Yeah.
So so you what is it called? You cleanse your Instagram page of the
team that you are the active quarterback for.
Precisely.
Yes.
Precisely. And so it's just small things like that, like the contract, like this, that just lets you know that there was
what
just,
Deuce Knight did.
There was just too much.
Correct.
Oh,
you followed in his footsteps.
Yeah. And it's just.
Man, we should have seen that coming then.
I know, right? I know.
We thought he was just trying to be trendy.
I know, but I think there are signs moving forward. But no, to me, there are such things as like, okay, these two parties have probably just been together for way too long.
Right.
So now I'm spinning this thing forward. Where do you think the best place for him to be? Maybe the best place for looking at it from both perspectives.
Right.
Looking at it from Kyler's perspective and looking at it from the team's perspective.
Right. I love him at the Vikings.
And so in Minnesota, okay, yeah.
And I think it's because obviously the Vikings, it's not working with JJ at the moment, right? And the thing about bringing in Kyler for this is it's low risk because you're not having to pay much, right? So worst case scenario, it doesn't work out. They have the chance to let him walk. So I think with just the situation in Minnesota right now and with the talent that's on that team and the potential that they have, why not try it?
The only pushback I have on Minnesota, and correct me if you think that I'm wrong on this, is do you think that would hamper the confidence of the J.J. McCarthy, of a guy that you brought in as the number one pick to say, first you passed up on me for Sam Darnold. I know there was an injury thing, but now you're going to do it again.
Right, and I thought about this, but I think at the end of the day, you're trying to win Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Right? So, are you really going to be concerned about the mental, psychological state of this quarterback that hasn't worked for you yet over taking the chance on Kyler? I don't know. It's something to look at. I'm sure the organization is really looking into it right now, but if I were there and I was making the decision, I think I would pick Kyler.
Okay, so before we go to another sport, Patrick, as far as destinations, where do you think that he fits best? And like we did with Gabriella, you could put the shoe on the other foot, the franchise's foot or Kyler's foot.
Well, what I think is best for Kyler, obviously I'm not Kyler Murray, so I don't truly know what's best. I'll get into that in a second because I'll spin it forward here and where I think he should go.
Yeah.
I thought about the Vikings, and yes, I could definitely see it because JJ Mr. hand the ball off 50 times a game at Michigan. He really hasn't done anything at the NFL level right now.
Yeah.
The other one that kind of piques my interest a little bit is Tennessee. I mean, yes, you have Cam Ward.
Okay.
You just drafted him at number 1 overall.
Right.
But we've seen teams that lose their starting quarterback kind of just left out in the water,
right?
And they start to drown. I mean, I don't mean to keep on bringing up Syracuse, but we saw that with Steve Angeli last year.
Yeah,
and they literally did not have a quarterback that could throw the football more than 15 yards down the field. Kyler Murray would be cheap. He has some experience, so you just bring him in as a low risk, high reward, just in case. He's that just in case at this point. But where I think he needs to go, get him back into baseball.
Okay,
get him back on the diamond. I feel like we tried this football thing.
Oh, man.
It worked for a little while over there in Arizona under Cliff Kingsbury. Just get back on the diamond. That's where the real money is anyways. I mean, you see the Juan Soto contract.
True,
it's going to be over $800 million when he opts out in a few years, and the Mets match it.
Yeah.
Just go back to the diamond.
And okay, and then kind of two things on this. This would not be like a Russell Wilson or Tim Tebow when they both went back to baseball, where it was like, yeah, they played baseball. They played it pretty well. Kyler was actually a really good baseball player.
Right.
And so I don't know if he could step right in there and do it. I would still explore football. I like Minnesota the way that you like Minnesota. Here you see some of his baseball numbers showing.
Got 10 home runs?
Yeah, exactly.
So would he have to walk from his NFL money, though, if he went over to baseball?
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. I mean, I think that if you are not on the NFL roster on March 11th, or when that league year starts, I think he would have to forfeit a lot of that NFL money.
Not
I think
it's
and that's what I'm saying. If he did not have the second deal already inked, then maybe I think that he explores it. A place where I thought could work, and you have to hear me out on this one, because I think in Tennessee, it's one of those situations where he might be too big for the room. In the sense that, like, he's a former first-round quarterback, and now you're going to Tennessee, and now you're back. Right. Yeah. And so the moment that Cam Ward throws a third interception is the whole Nissan Stadium yelling, "We want Kyler, we want Kyler."
Right.
Same thing there on the back end for J.J. Watt or J.J. McCarthy. I think you nailed it on the head. You can't be really concerned about what your backup quarterback thinks. You're there to win games, especially where they are now. I kind of like a certain situation in Atlanta, because Atlanta just got rid of Kirk Cousins. They got rid of Kirk Cousins. And they signed him to that huge deal. They're sitting with Michael Penix Jr. right now. What is Michael Penix Jr.? Left-handed quarterback that's athletic, injury-prone. You don't really know. What is Kyler Murray? An athletic quarterback that you don't really know if he's bought in. I just think that could work.
Also struggled with some injuries.
Yeah, and struggled with some injuries there as well. I think you throw them both into training camp and you just let them fight it out. And I think that if Michael Penix wins it, he wins it. If Kyler wins it, then he wins it. And I think that you'd have a situation that's not like the Tennessee situation where you have a guy that you're really relying on. And the throwback, the instant throwback will be, well, they're both first round draft picks. Michael Penix is too. But I think everybody now at this point thinks that Michael Penix was a bit of a reach as a first round pick. So Atlanta would be my spot.
I mean, I could see it. I definitely could see it.
Yeah.
It's just there's got to be something there in the tank for Penix, and I know he dealt with injuries. That's why Kirk Cousins came in and had a few decent games where it looked like Kirko Chains was back, and Kirk Cousins turning back the clock, the biological clock. But at the same time, I mean, Michael Penix had that run at the end of the 2024 season where, if I'm not mistaken, they finished a game short of making the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, 2 years ago, if they didn't lose against Tampa.
Also, you have to put an asterisk by that because it's the NFC South and it's the most mediocre division ever.
A division that used to be so good. They had the Saints, and honestly, it was the Saints, and for a few years it was the Panthers, and then a few years it was the Falcons. And then recently it was the Bucs.
Right. So, I mean, you got to think about it. Like, yes, that division is kind of like the height of mediocre when they're all like they were last year. They're all sitting around 7 wins, 8 wins, 9 wins. But when you think about it, Tampa's won a Super Bowl. Atlanta's been to a Super Bowl. The Saints have won a Super Bowl. And Carolina's been to a Super Bowl all in the last 15, 20 years. So it's like, I mean, while it is kind of a meh division, you also get, the heights of it as well. So